Media Mavens Show, a fantastic fusion of health, wealth, and wisdom that will ignite your passion for life. I'm Aldwyn, also known as the Media Queen from Australia.
And I'm Kerstin Linnartz from Germany. We are here to take you on a journey of inspiration to help you grow in life and business and unlock your true potential.
With a combined 70 years of media experience, we share stories, insights, and expert advice that will empower you in all areas of your life.
The Media Mavens Show is not just another show. It's a candid look for answers to the big questions in life and a movement towards a better, brighter future.
This show transcends borders. We're connecting people and cultures globally.
So whether you're watching us online or listening to our podcast, buckle up to be inspired, informed, and ready to conquer the world.
Hello. Welcome to Media Mavens Show. My name is Aldwyn with Kerstin Linnartz, my amazing co-host. And today we are going to be chatting about turning negatives into positives. We have the amazing Rita Rose with us. She is extraordinary. She is a motivational, inspirational speaker, a author, entrepreneur, MC. She has helped raise over $30 million for different charities over the years. She's had 30 years in the entertainment industry. She is the founder of Red Peacock Cosmetics, which is a beautiful lipstick I'm wearing right now, and she's a very dear friend from Sydney. Welcome to the show, Rita Rose.
Thank you, Aldwyn, and thank you, Kerstin, for having me here tonight.
Thanks for being our guest. Great to have you here.
Yes, great to have you. And I love this topic, turning negatives into positives, because as we know, there's always the yin yang of life, right? There's always going to be challenges at times. And then how can we turn those challenges into opportunities? How can we learn to let go sometimes when we can't control certain things in life, such as tech issues that can happen at any moment? And we are currently in Mercury retrograde, my friends, which means for the next 3 weeks, sometimes, things may seem like they're going backwards before they go forwards. It's a good time to review and to look back over your life and look at the learnings and to reflect on life and to recalibrate now for the next few weeks. Now, Rita, I know you've had a lot of personal challenges and you just seem to, you get up, you keep going. You're extraordinary in so many ways, an extraordinary cook as well, I must say. So many areas of life. You're a magician. You're so talented in so many different areas. So can you share a bit of your background of where this resilience and where this started for you, these challenges and this amazing get up and go attitude that you have?
Well, I grew up on a farm, so I'm a country girl from the central coast of New South Wales. So I was very strong. I was a very strong girl. 100 kilos, to lift 100 kilos was no problem for me. I remember when my husband met me, he said, "How are you doing that?" And it was all about the mindset. And that's why I studied the mind many years later. But as a young girl, I got endometriosis, and that turned into endometrial cancer that spread to 4 parts of my body. And I had stage 4, obviously, cancer, 32 weeks of chemotherapy and 26 weeks of radiotherapy. The hardest thing was learning how to walk and talk again. My memory loss was just so far gone that it was really, really hard, difficult to be able to remember a whole lot of things that I once knew. And I used to think I had quite a good memory. And I actually turned every negative at that point into a positive by not saying the word don't, or can't. I can't do this. And I would say, you can, you just haven't tried, or I just can't function, but I could. But it was maybe a smaller capacity, but I did. So, and I became the can't into the I cans all the time. So it was good.
I love that. Would you say you already had this positive attitude ingrained into your mind, or was this something that developed through being so severely ill? How did you develop that?
I think being one of 8 children, so there's 7 girls and 1 boy in my family. My dad was pretty tough on us all, but fair. And, he always said that if you don't put your mind to it, you'll never succeed. If you're going to say you can't do it, you'll never can do it. And that was instilled in us in such a young age. So he always used to say, look, you can do it. You can do anything. You can do anything you want. And, even though they'd given me 8 months to live, I just knew in the back of, just in the pit of my gut that I wouldn't die. I just knew, because it was always, I can, I'm going to. If I can't do it the way I want to do it, I can do it in some way to be productive. So it was basically every day I planted my feet on the floor in the morning was a great day. And then I thought, that's a great day. No, I don't whinge anymore. It's a great day. I can do this. So all those days I placed my feet on the ground, that was a bonus. And the hard thing was, when you hang around negative people, you can somewhat become negative. And, going into these treatments that I was having, all these treatments and drugs and things that they were putting into me, it was always people in that room would always look at the negatives of everything. This medication's not doing this for me. I'm tired. I'm sick. I'm vomiting. I'm doing all these things. And I'm saying, look at the good side of it. You're here. Look at the good side of it. There might be someone in this room that won't be here next week. So look at the good side. You're here. You're living and breathing. So I think I just put a positive onto everything. And every time a negative would come out of someone's mouth, I'd say, stop, just stop. I can't be around you. You're killing my vibration, I would say to them. You're killing my vibration. I can't keep doing this negative thing. They said, well, you can't. I said, no, I'm not going to do this negative thing. I'm actually going to turn everything into a positive.
Yeah, amazing. So you're actually a living proof, right? How this mindset and how this, I love your clarity, the clarity with how you tell your story right now. I can absolutely envision you being so clear with those people back then. I'm not having this, get out of my vortex with your negativity. I want to address two things that you mentioned, which I find amazing. Every time we hear those stories about resilience, people who turned like pain into power. Two things you mentioned. You said you were a strong girl from an early age on. You could lift 100 kilos, and your father was kind of giving you the tough love. And so often I love hearing those stories of entrepreneurs, successful sports people, and so on and so forth. It's almost never the ones who grew up in Germany, we say, with a golden spoon in their mouth, right? And very pampered
Correct.
and put into cotton. So would you say this was something that gave you strength as well?
Yes. As much as I didn't like how tough my dad was on me at times, I'm so thankful and grateful. And I understand now more than ever the reason why he was like that, because he built all of us children into strong individuals that hold our own. Fair enough, we got married, or some of us got married and had kids and things like that. But we can stand all on our own. We don't need anyone to stand with, for us. With us, yes, but not for us. We as individuals can stand up on our own 2 feet and move forward. And no matter what hits you in the face, you can tackle anything with the right attitude.
Love that. Love that. So what do you tell people who, no shaming here, but so often people say, well, I grew up disadvantaged. I didn't have the best education. My parents could not afford university, and so on and so forth. Ergo, I will never have a chance for a big career, a happy life, a great marriage, being super healthy. What do you tell those people?
Look, I don't put up with the poor me mentality from anyone. I just don't. The funny thing is that when I went through all the chemo, radiation, all those operations that I had, I lost memory of even my family. I had total amnesia. I didn't remember my mother, my father, my sisters, my brother. Totally forgot everything. I didn't even remember my husband. Right? So if I can do it, anyone can do it. And I still struggle these days with vocabulary, because I used to be pretty switched on when it came to words and things like that. Now it's a little bit slower, but then I've got Parkinson's, but that's no excuse. You just get up and you do it to the best of your ability. What's perfection? Perfection is in the eye of the beholder. And the eye of the beholder is not your perfection. Everyone's perfection is different. You know, a smart cookie, like I always say to the kids, a smart cookie is the ones that can understand what their perfection is. No cookie is ever the same. It doesn't matter how many boxes of cookies you open, no cookie's ever the same. But they're still perfect because when you taste them, they're delicious. So that's your perfection. And you just have to treat everything like that. It doesn't matter what it is or how it looks like. You know, it's in our DNA. We all judge a book by its cover. Every individual does it, no matter what. Every individual judges a book by its cover. No one's exempt from that, nobody. However, we like to say to ourselves that we don't judge a book by its cover. And over the years, I try always never to judge the book by its cover, ever, because I've got it many times I've got it wrong.
And sometimes we judge ourselves, don't we? Sometimes we can be very hard on ourselves. And I think in turning negatives into positives, I think it starts with our conversations with ourselves and then the conversations we have with others, because we know that hurt people. And you know, people can be really tough on themselves and others. And I want to say thank you to everyone who's joining us on the live stream right now. I can see Antonia Rule International has joined us on Instagram. Mehra Yoga, Rob Zelizic is with us. Also on Facebook, we've got Rosie, beautiful Rosie's with us. Rosie Shalub, she says, such an inspiring story. We've got Karina Samperi. I love hearing Rita's story. You've got a few fans out there, Rita, by the look of it.
Yeah, I recognise those names. So thank you for tuning in, all my beautiful friends, family and clients there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And for those who are joining us live or watching the replay, let us know, what are some ways that you turn negatives in your life into positives? Now, it's easy to say, look, just turn the negative into positive, but how do you actually go about it, particularly for those who are really challenged by this? What would you say, Rita?
Well, you know, your circle of friends, your circle of family. But in saying that, you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. And your family are usually the ones that bring the negatives in. And you can't get rid of those, really. You can't. They say, well, the exception of hanging around, you know, be the people that you want to be hanging around. Be who you want to be by the positive people you hang around. Like my circle of friends are all positive people. And I always like to I tend to hang around people that are better than me, because I always learn something, You can never stop learning. You know, besides family, always try and hang around with people on your level or better than you. So, and that's not about finances, by the way. That's about mentality, the mind. It's not that if, you know, one friend's got $10 million or one friend's got $100,000 or one friend's got $10. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the mindset. If you're all on the positive, on the same flow, on the same mindset of thinking, you know, because if you're hanging around people that are tend to have a lot of negative, you know, tonalities about all different things, or they're so discombobulated with everything, they just can't focus and they're totally in confusion. You can't be the best version of yourself, because your positive might have a negative only because you're hanging around them. Because I'll always turn a good situation, a good scenario, they'll always find a negative in it, right? So that actually helps you, all right, turn whatever it is that you are so happy about, it can turn that easy into a negative if you listen to what they're saying, right? You're so happy and chirpy about whatever you're doing. You're so grateful about what you're doing. You're so in the forward mind of going to another level. But when you get a negative person that hangs around you all the time, you start to question your judgment of whatever it is that you're so positive about. It's very important. I can see it a mile away. Sometimes I've met people that they say, this is my best friend. And I think, oh my God, so chalk and cheese in the mindset, I'm saying. right? From the mindset. One's so negative and one's so positive. How does that work? Well, it might work for a little time, but it won't work forever. Trust me, it won't work forever.
Yeah, not in a sustainable way, because very often you see these combinations of a person who has a people pleaser mentality, maybe because of the way they were brought up. And then there's this very strong taker. You know how naturally takers and givers, they attract like magnets. And the people pleaser mentality, they're giving, and they're almost tempted to allow the other one sucking the energy out of them. And I love how you say that your circle of friends, the peers that you surround yourself with, you know how it is said that you're always a product of the 5 people around you who are closest. They are the ones who rub off on you. And actually in business, when you have discouraging people around you, that can absolutely slow down your career. And like you were saying earlier, in your health, right? When you were going through chemo and with the vomiting and feeling horrible, if you surround yourself with people who will start to belittle you, oh, poor you, this is so horrible, they put more negative on you. This is a whole other game than what you were saying when you were saying, I'm not having this, I'm positive, I'm shifting this around. And it's so important, the people you surround yourself with. So I couldn't agree more. What would you say? I always like to give a type of service to our viewers. If somebody's now listening to that and they say, oh my God, that's me, because I see that in so many of my female clients that they have this strong people pleasing mentality and they find it so difficult to set boundaries for themselves and to express those boundaries, because it strongly goes hand in hand with how much do you accept, how much negativity do you allow. What would you say as a word of encouragement of people who have difficulties of setting boundaries or getting rid of negative people in their life?
Yeah, well, I think the best thing when you're sick, or as sick as I was, and you're like literally got a tube coming out of your arm, chemo's coming in, or you've got blood coming in on our, I'd just say, look, please walk away, because you really, it's distracting where I'm at the moment. I can't function as it is. It's really, I just can't cope with this right now. You need to move away from me. And usually, and that look, I was quite rude. As sick as I was quite rude, but I'm glad I did, because then they would say the same thing to me. They would say to me, Rita, yeah, we can't do all this negative talk. It's better just to walk away. And I said, yeah, it's better to walk away, because then you start, oh, when am I going to die? Is this working? Yeah, maybe I did have this metal taste in my mouth because they said they did. It was all negative stuff. Whatever was going on in that room, it was always about death, negative stuff. It was never a good thing about what was going on in that room. The only good thing was the chemo that they were giving you in your arm, and even that, to be honest, when I think about it today, it wasn't that good, okay, because it didn't save me. It didn't save me. It helped prolong my life, but it didn't save me. There were other things that saved me at the time, And so I gave my body pretty much the science, and they did what they had to do. And that's how I became, in the condition I did, in a wheelchair, lost my mind, lost my memory, lost everything. But there was another thing too. I was in a wheelchair. And they used to they say, oh, to my husband, take her out in the sun. And I'd say to my husband, take me out in the sun and close the door behind you. Don't let the door hit you on the bum on the way out, because I'd say to him, just follow me out. And he'd say to me, okay, what are you doing? I used to get up out of that wheelchair and I would fall. The amount of times the doctor would get up. Look, I had a professor, God love him, his name was Professor Connix. He said to me, Rita, he goes, I've never seen such a stubborn woman in my life. And I said, well, I'm going to walk again. He goes, Rita, look, you're probably not. I said, don't tell me I'm not, because you know what? It's the ones that you say cannot do it that will get up and prove you wrong, sir. And he used to say to me, you're going to prove me wrong. I said, oh, my Lord, I'm going to prove you wrong. And I think I must have fell out of that wheelchair at least 20, 30 times before I even stood up. But there's many times that, and then they actually put a seatbelt around me so I wouldn't get up to fall out, right? But I'm a farm girl. I can get around anything. So I managed to find a way to get that seatbelt off me. And it didn't matter how many times I fell off the chair. I was always going to stand up or try and stand up, which I did. So.
I just love the strength of the farm girls. I mean, they just have a different blood running through them, right? When you've been digging in the dirt as a kid, that makes you so strong and resilient.
Yes.
Let
Well,
me
look,
ask you.
I haven't been on the farm for 36 years, and this doesn't look like a farm girl anymore. However, it's in there. It's in there. So that's why I said don't judge a book by its cover. Only the other day I was on a tractor with Aldwyn in the country, weren't we, Aldwyn?
Yes, we were.
And we didn't look like this, my love.
No, we didn't. No.
No.
We got our
And that's the amazing thing, right? That's the amazing thing. If you have it both, right? I've been living on the beach in India with, in a little bamboo hut, rats running on my roof. And a week later, I was doing the red carpet in Berlin on the film festival. When you have it all in you, you radiate different. And this is something I wanted to address when earlier you were talking about, when you've gone through a damage and you've done such an amazing amount of healing like you have, also you can tell this is the light and the strength that's almost radiating from inside out through the holes, through the scars that you carry with you. And there's a Japanese concept, you might have heard of it. It's called ikigai. That's what the Japanese people, they call it. It's the beauty in the damaged. And they actually have museums where they keep or expose the old porcelain, like old porcelain cups or bowls that were broken and that have been glued beautifully with golden glue or something, and they actually enhance and they underline the brokenness, because they say everybody can have a regular cup, right? But when it's been broken and it's been repaired in such a beautiful way, there's a special type of beauty and energy to it.
Well, Kerstin, I can sit down on the grass with the boys and have a beer, but geez, I could sip champagne with the royals in the palace, and I've done that many a times.
I can tell. That's the energy you radiate. May I ask one thing, which is like quite a different thing now? When I heard you talk about losing your memory, like you couldn't even remember your family and your husband. Two questions. At what age has that been? And how did you find your way out of that? That must be like a scary state to be in, no? How did you not lose your positivity in this sense of losing control over your memory, over your mind?
Well, I was in Leuven in Belgium when this happened. So I had quite a bit of hours on the plane on the way home. But before that all happened, when my husband had walked into the ICU ward and he sat down, I thought he was just a doctor. I didn't know he was my husband. I just thought he was another doctor that had come in to check up on me, but he wouldn't leave. And I thought, well, why isn't this guy leaving? And he said to me, I'm your husband. I said, well, I don't know what you are, whether you're my husband or not. Thankfully, he had, and still has, a wallet full of my pictures. And one of them was me us on our wedding day. So he would talk to me over and over and over again. So I came to believe that he was my husband. And then a few little things that he did just set off like a little release in my brain that, oh yeah, I think I remember that, right? And then just the way he fed me, I just thought, okay. And then I'd look at his jewelry or something on him and I'd remember who he was. So slowly I got to recognize that he was my husband. And then he was so gentle and kind with me, and he just knew what I liked and what I didn't like. I would always paint the canvas, my makeup, right? I would always paint the canvas in the morning. There was no way I was ever going to leave hospital or anywhere to go, or leave to go anywhere, not even to go to get the milk without makeup. And he would always make sure that I had my foundation on, even though I wasn't going to go anywhere. I was tied to 20 different machines, but he always knew that I was pretty vain that makeup had to go on. And he'd say, Rita, paint your canvas. So, if I couldn't do it, he would do it for me. And I knew he was good. He was good. He was on my side. The hardest part was when I got home. So I arrived at Sydney Airport, because I'm in Sydney, New South Wales, in Australia. And there was about 150 of my relatives, including my mother and father, which I could not recognise. And on the way home on the plane, my dear Sal said to me, this is your mother's name, your father's name, your sister's by, and I was trying to remember everything. And you know, I thought I did a good job until I got to the airport, and then I looked at everyone and I didn't recognise anyone. And then my family had organised a gathering at my home for when I, you know, got off the plane, and they were going to all gather around our place for coffee and tea. And my husband said, I don't think that's a good idea. She's got no idea who you all are. That was just going to confuse the hell out of me, you know. But slowly, with time, I got to remember everybody. And even up to this day, there are things that I can't remember, right? And, you know, I might just see something and I think, oh, hold on a minute, I think I did this before. Or hold on a minute, I think I know that person before. You know, I've met this person before, and I have, and I've probably done that thing before, but it hasn't come back in my memory. So, but I work on that. So I don't just ignore it. So as an example, I went to the zoo, and I love animals, as you know, Aldwyn, I love animals. I went to the zoo, and I remember going to the zoo when I was a kid, and I did all that. And then we went to the zoo not long after I got back, and I said to my husband, why haven't we come here before? Why have we waited so long to come to the zoo? And he goes, you've come here before. I said, no, I can't remember any of this. And then I have a fear of snakes. So when I went into the snake enclosure, I remembered. I thought, hold on a minute, I have been here before. I do remember this. So there are things like that, you know. So, but
are these moments scary when you can tell that you don't remember things? And if so, how do you overcome that fear? Because it is I mean, I can only imagine, right? I have this menopause forgetfulness where I leave the kitchen, and when I'm in the living room, I can't remember what I was going to get, right? But this is a whole different game. So if there's any moments of fear or insecurity coming with this loss of memory, how do you turn this negative into something positive? How do you not lose your confidence or get scared by this?
Yeah, I used to get scared, but now I don't. I just think, oh, okay, all right, that's one thing I don't remember. That's fine. Move on. I'm alive. It's another day. Let's move on. And then I might have a discussion with someone that was there at the moment, at that time of whatever situation it is, and they'll tell me a little bit of positive, never negative, positive things or funny things. It's the funny things that actually prompt me to remember, because I'm a bit of a character. I love to laugh. So they're the funny things that make me remember, which is great. But yeah, fear's there. The fear's real. You can let it eat you up inside. But the best thing to do is just move forward the best way you can in a positive way. All right, I've forgotten. I don't remember. However, I will try to remember a little bit. Someone will help me remember it. Or photos. Like, all photos are good. You know? So
yeah, I think lots of great strategies and ideas there of things that we can do to stay positive or turn negatives into positives. We've talked about having that positive self-talk, also looking at where you can bring joy into your life, and just touching on what Kerstin was saying earlier about ikigai. Ikigai actually is a Japanese term that means, iki means live and gai means reason, so a reason to live. And what they look at with ikigai, just to clarify, because I think when you said ikigai, Kerstin, I think you meant kintsugi, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. But ikigai is a beautiful chart. You can actually look it up online, where you look at areas of your life, 4 different areas of your life that can help bring more joy to your life. So first you look at what you love to do. What is your passion? Then you look at what the world needs. What is your mission? What you're good at is the third thing, your vocation or your work. And the fourth thing is what you can get paid for, your profession, right? So those 4 things all coming together is where you find ikigai, or a reason to live, your purpose, your joy. Now, when Kerstin, when you're referring to when a jar or a pot is broken, and this beautiful Japanese art called kintsugi is where they join all the broken parts with gold, right? And it's often done come with ceramic pottery or glass, and they use this gold lacquer to bring all the broken bits together. And this is what it actually shows us. What they're showing with this kintsugi is it inspires people to embrace our flaws and accept our flaws as a part of life, and in fact to sort of heal those kind of, I guess, scars, the scars in the pottery. We all have our scars, right? We all have things where we've had challenges in life, and we've had to show a certain amount of resilience and mental ability to actually come through and to even become stronger with the healing of those scars or those little broken bits. Just because you've got broken bits in your life doesn't mean you're a broken person, right? It just means that we have things that have molded us, in effect. And I love this idea of this gold layering to mold us to become even stronger than we were before. And there's so many things. I must say, personally, having had depression, I've had 4 friends who've suicided. We've had 4 times the suicide rates through COVID. If you think about what's going on in the world right now, this kind of mental toughness that comes with turning negatives into positives. For me, when I look at my life, there's so many things that I do every day to practice turning the negatives into positives. And one thing is gratitude. We do the Global Good News Challenge. In fact, Rita and I just did one this week in Sydney. We just did a Global Good News Challenge, practicing gratitude. Now, what other practices, Rita, do you do that, things like, maybe meditation, watching a comedy, connecting with your beautiful new dog, which it's a beautiful way to also help turn any negatives into positives by having a beautiful pet, right? So what are some things that you do on a daily basis to help also bring more joy into your life?
Well, just before I go into that, the one key thing is, look, I studied a little bit on epigenetics, okay? Everyone says, oh, it's in the genetics. Every, 6 to 9 years. If you understand epigenetics, you know that you can change the path of your genetic. That line of, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You can kick that apple out of that tree and become someone else. But the most important thing for me is I don't let negative people rent the space in my brain. There's no space for negative people to rent a space in my brain. I just clearly just get them out of there. But, so many people feel sorry for themselves because, they say, oh, genetically my parents didn't do this. I wasn't brought up properly and this and this. And well, poor me, poor you. No, get your act together. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Put your big panties on and start doing something positive for yourself, because the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, but you can actually kick that apple out of that circle. It's as easy as just kicking it out. I'm going to do things my way. And if you do things your way, whether you want to do meditations like I do every day I do a meditation. I do healing. I stretch. I eat good food, right? I have, maybe a little bit too much coffee, but anyway, it is what it is. It suits me. I'm 56 and I've never had cholesterol in my life. I've never had sugar in my life. With all the bad stuff that, that I've gone through, my doctor says, how are you still without any of these? Your blood tests always come back perfect, because I do the best possible thing to keep this machine going the best way. I'm not saying that I don't do anything that I shouldn't do, because there's things that I've done and I do that maybe I shouldn't do. But hey, we all have a vice of some sort. We all have a vice. Maybe have a drink or 2 more, or whatever it may be. We've all got them. We're humans. What is right and what is wrong? You need to do what's right for you and what's right for your body, okay? And not listen to any outside influences. Do what's good for you. And when you can realise that what's good for you is really what's good for you, you'll find that will just change. It'll just change your mindset, because you'll focus on only positive things, and good things happen. You'll start to make money. You'll start to make more friends. You'll start to socialise more. There's a lot of good things that come out of good energy. So good energy feeds good energy, all right? Low energy doesn't go anywhere. low energy has no vibration. So, you know, the heat rises, that's like energy. It rises. You know, when I walk into a room, it doesn't matter what room it is, whether it's a bank, whether it's a formal thing, whether it's a house, I feel my energy straight away. I walk in that room with high energy, right? And then I just take it from there. It doesn't have to be high energy all the time because there's so many people that don't like high energy people. Not my problem, that's their problem. I'll just move to another frequency over here in the corner where it suits my energy. If I don't like what's coming out of someone's mouth, I'm not going to say I don't like you or whatever. Just move away. Just move away. It's not even worth the headache. It's not even worth the headache. And Aldwyn saw this not long ago where, you know, I'd walked into a room and I got around some people with a real low frequency and I just walked out. Not my cup of tea. I don't have to deal with that. Just leave me alone, walk away. No, not for me. You can do that for yourself. When you truly know what you want and what you don't want, it's just a matter of saying yes or no, not in between. Yes, I like being around that. No, I don't. But if you stand there, obviously your energy is not as high as you think it is, right? So the best thing is to practice that a little bit. Practice that a little bit with yourself. So it's good when someone, like, just go to the shops. Go into a shop in a Westfield, right? Into a random shop. Say hello, and whatever it may be, just ask for something random. And if you don't like what they're saying, work with yourself and say, I don't like what they're saying, thank you, and walk out. If you do like what they're saying, start a conversation. You'd be surprised how much energy you will get from that person if they're mentally stimulating for you or they're not. Okay, you don't have to do it with friends. You can do it with complete strangers. It's amazing how you can train yourself through other people, because when you do it for other people, they're not going to see you again. They don't know who you are. You know, 5 minutes later, they're going to forget you. But if you do it with a family, friend, colleague, they're going to remember who you are. So work on that. When your head, your heart, and your gut is in alignment, you can't go wrong. If your head's not in alignment with your gut, if your gut's telling you one thing and your head's telling you another, you're not in alignment. There's something wrong there.
Exactly. That's the congruency. No? When you have your head, your heart, and your gut in congruency, your left and your right brain, they work together perfectly and you get the right information. There's no doubt. There's no questions and only answers, right? And I love how you were saying to how some people, low frequency people, do not like high energy people. And that brings me back to the people pleasers, because so many people, what they do then, they put something onto their light, they shrink their own light to not offend the ones that are vibrating at a lower frequency. And this is something that I always take my clients through when they have this people pleaser thing, or they don't dare to live as big as they could. Very often it's again the people they surround themselves with, and to not offend others with their greatness and their light and their joy and their success, they keep shrinking themselves. Again, it has to do with upbringing very often. And I love how you say you can not have negative people influence you and stop your positivity. And I think this is very crucial, that we dare to shine our light and that we don't get offended by people who decide. It's always a decision. Nobody forces you to live at a low frequency. It's a decision. Just like you were saying, you decide if you say yes to certain vices like alcohol or whatever. It's a decision. Nobody's forcing you to do that.
Correct.
It's a conscious, deliberate decision that you do. And if somebody decides to live their life miserably and jealous and anxious, why would you shrink your light to not offend them? And what I'm telling people to be aware of, you don't even do them a favor by shrinking yourself. Just the opposite is the case. If you dare to shine your light, you might even pull them up, right? You might even give them a positive example. And
yeah, but do you have the energy to do that? The thing is, do you want Or do you want to do that, or do you have the energy to do that, right? So basically for me, I don't ever let anyone dull my sparkle. No way. I just don't. I just say to them, no, don't dull my sparkle. But for me, when you're hanging around positive people, right, you don't even let the negatives come in. It's impossible to let a negative energy in if you're around positive people. All right, it just gets off the radar. It just deletes itself.
Yes.
Because the frequency and the vibration, right, of the people around you. There's so many people at the moment that are living in the third dimension, still that C word. But, a lot of people have got smarter and thinking about things very more different, like a lot more differently, and they're actually vibrating into the fifth dimension and higher. All right. So I think that it's up to you as an individual to see where you stand, right? And the way you breathe every day and the way you go about things every day. And Aldwyn knows this better than a lot of people. She's lived here like for a week, 2 weeks, and she's seen the struggles I do. But I still wake up with a smiley face and I say, oh, well, I've got sore legs today, but let's keep moving. Let's just keep going. Let's just keep going. I could feel sorry for myself, go back to bed and say, oh, my God, I just don't feel well. I just need to stay in bed a bit longer. No, I push myself. Rita, come on. It's an excuse, Rita. It's just an excuse. Get your backside out of bed, stop feeling sorry for yourself, and move forward. And once I'm actually in the progress or in the process of doing what I'm doing, I'm good. Because I've already changed my mindset. And then if I'm around positive people, like I have been this week with Aldwyn, you're not in that negative mindset for very long. It's just that little minute that you start to get that negative and you pull yourself back and think, no, come on, climb that ladder, right? It's like a pyramid, right? So there's a lot of people in today's age, with all these financial crises and stuff, and they say, oh, they're going through depression, they're going through hardships, and there's a lot of people like that. Like I did it myself. So, I'm not just talking about like a small majority, a small minority. I'm talking about a majority of people. So if you see life like a pyramid, okay, so the pyramid starts down here, right? And there's your peak. Once you get to the top of the peak, where are you going? Once you get to the top of the peak, where are you going? There's only one way, and that's back down. Well, hopefully you don't go right down the pyramid, and maybe you get halfway. But if you're going up that pyramid on your own, you're coming down on your own. So why not grow with people on that pyramid, positive people, that if you fall a little bit, you've got someone on the way up or on the way down to pick you up and move forward to the peak of that pyramid, right? And that's how I see life. Take the people up the pyramid with me. When I get to the peak, I know there's a chance that I'm going to go back down that pyramid. However, I'm taking a lot of people with me down that pyramid. The people I took up it are coming down with me. And there's a good chance that you're not down here. You're not down the bottom of the pyramid. You're going to be staying somewhere around here and rising all the time, going up, going down, going up, going down. And that's what business is like, right? These multi-millionaire businesses, these multi-millionaires that are surrounding you every day on the TV and things like that, you see them all the time. And then what do? They go up and they go down. You see these big companies going bankrupt. And you say, well, how did they get back up that pyramid? Because they took a lot of people up the pyramid that helped them. Well, they fell down with them, but they helped grow them back up to the top. So if you can do that in your everyday life, you'll never get to the bottom of that pyramid anymore.
Exactly. And that's, I love that thought of the peer group mastermind that you can start. And that's actually what I was referring to when you shine your light onto others, and you might help them get out of their negative circle, depending on what circumstances that is, or in what situation you've been helping them. Some of them might never forget, right? And they might be there for you on the way down, like you were painting the picture so beautifully with the pyramid.
Thank you.
I want to ask one question. You have several businesses. There's the Barbie Barb Children's Entertainment, the Barbie Barb Magic School, and
Yes.
the collection. So I assume from listening to you that you have founded those businesses after your healing, right?
No,
Oh, you've
no,
had this before.
no. What most people don't understand is that the Barbie Barb children's entertainment, believe it or not, started off when I was as sick as a dog. I was so sick. However, most people didn't know that I had endometrial cancer. So I was only, I think it was about a size 8 to 10 at the time. And I'd lost a lot of weight. I went down to a size 4. I was 39 kilos. I had long blonde hair. I had blue eyes. I had to look at something that I could do for 2 days a week. And I thought, what, right. All my friends called me Barbie. I thought, that's a loophole that's not filled yet. Let's do that. So I dressed up as Barbie, and I was going, oh my God, she looks so gorgeous. She's so skinny. Look at her. She's got the blue eyes and the blonde hair. Half of the time it was a wig. So I turned a negative into a positive. I was as sick as a dog, but I was making good money because I was working as Barbie. So I thought, that's the first one. And I kept that going even after I got back on my feet, and that's still going today.
That's beautiful. So you turned that pain into power, and you're even sharing positivity with children. So what does that look like? You entertain the children. Let us share what that looks like.
Okay, so Kerstin, I didn't like what I looked like at the time because I was as skinny as a rake. But kids used to say, oh my God, Mum, she looks like Barbie. And kids would say, she looks so beautiful. You look so beautiful. And geez, that made me feel good because inside I didn't feel so beautiful. However, I'd come back so energized. These kids thought I was the ants pants of their party. And I just thought, oh my God, this is awesome. So I tried more glitter and more this. And then I started to learn magic. There was no internet at the time. There was no CDs at the time. There was VHS and books. So I just tried to, learn as much magic as I can. And then I'd ask a few people that I knew that were magicians if they could help me, but they wouldn't give me their secrets. And I thought, okay, that's okay. See you later. I will learn my own tricks and I'll make them bigger and better than Ben-Hur. And then I went out and I did my own tricks. And then I thought, there's another little hole. There's another little niche. No one's doing this. So I opened up the Barbie Barb Magic School because I still looked like Barbie because I was still quite sick, right? And then the Barbie Barb collection came many, many years later when I could afford to, I was always creating and designing shoes, bags, makeup, clothes, everything, coffee. I was designing so many. Like now I've got over 1,000 lines that I've got my name to them. So I was creating, but you need to have money to actually do them in mass production. So 2014, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to make it happen. And my husband said to me, can we afford to do this? And I said, not really, but we'll do it and it'll work. So I opened up the Barbie Barb collection. So it's just about, knowing, at the end of the day, you can be anything. You can do anything if you put your mind to it.
Yes, and I love your pragmatism with how you just go for it. You see a loophole. I love how you talk about those loopholes.
Yeah, it's a loophole.
Right? There's something that nobody has ever done before. I'm in a shitty situation, but how can I turn this into a positive? I'm seeing a loophole and I'm jumping right in because I think this is what divides successful people who always get back on their feet. We call them in German, we have an expression for that. We call it Stehaufmännchen. I don't know the English expression. These little dolls they had in the 70s, like a little figurine, you would push them down and come back up, right? And this is how we call those super resilient people. No matter what shitty situation they're in, they see the loophole and they also have the bravery to jump right in, because sometimes people might see a loophole, but they stand in front of it and they even get scared, and then they make the decision to rather turn to the negative and to buy into the I cannot do this, I'm too weak, I'm too ill, I'm too old, I'm too poor, blah, blah, blah. And I love you have already given so many beautiful examples of being ill, of not having the money, of not having whatever the surrounding, right? But you still jumped into the loophole, and look what beautiful life you have turned your life back into. And you have even created those beautiful products that make children happy, that make women's lips beautiful, like Aldwyn, right?
Yes,
I
yes.
absolutely love that. I think this is a beautiful, radiant example of how take the bull by the horns, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. I just think you become what you are in self, as an individual. You become the individual. But when you pump, it's like, a car doesn't go anywhere unless you put petrol in it, right? So you've got to empower yourself. When you empower yourself, you go to a lot of places. The more you empower yourself, the more you step out into the world and make a big, huge difference. And like I said before, I don't let anyone dull my sparkle. If they don't like what I'm doing or they're not on my vibration, that's all good. You're just not the type of person I want to be hanging around with all the time. I want to be hanging around like lots of positive people. And it's like I said, it's not about money. It's about mentality, attitude, about having a little bit of guts to move forward. Because I've fallen down where I've been actually on a bed, not being able to eat, not able to walk or talk. And I've also had the other scenario when I've been flat broke and eating sandwiches, right? But there's no excuse to move forward. You can still move forward. You just have to change the way of thinking. And if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and not getting the result, hey, you're doing the wrong thing. Change your attitude and start taking another road down another highway, And why I say highway, because if you don't change it quick, like you'd be going down a highway, you're going to get so stuck that you're not going to be able to get yourself out of that rut.
Yeah, and having that self-love is so important. Self-love and looking after yourself. We can think positively as much as we like, but if we're not looking after our body and not honoring ourselves, and that could be through eating healthy food, it could be through going to the beach, as I often do, and get into the ocean, it could be getting a little bit of sunshine, it could be grounding yourself. We've talked about meditation, all these things, all these little things add to helping, I believe, turn the negatives into positives. And
the other thing, sorry, Aldwyn, sorry.
Yes, the other thing, go.
The other thing I was going to say, if you don't love yourself, you cannot love anyone else. You cannot. If you really do not love yourself, how can you love your children? You're pretending, I always say. You're pretending. People say to me, Rita, you always say you love yourself. Yeah, I do. I do love myself. And it's not about the exterior. No, it's not about that. You know what it is for me? I always make sure that I do things that are not going to affect anyone. And if they do, I'll apologize, right? I'm not perfect. If I do the wrong thing, I will be the first to apologize, because I'm not always right with things that I do for other people, because they're not on the same wavelength as me, right? So I might tell someone, hey, you're doing this, this, and this, and they get offended, and I apologize. I don't want them to get offended. I want them to move forward in a positive way. However, if you don't love yourself, you cannot love anyone else. You cannot. And you're fooling yourself if you think you can. And I'm talking about even your own children. And now that's a hard call. That's a hard call. But honestly, if you look in yourself in the mirror and you love what your heart's doing and what your head's doing and treating people with respect, they say treat people like you want to be treated. That's the biggest bull I've ever heard. I don't treat people the way that I want to be treated. No, I don't treat people the way if they treat me like SHIT, they don't get any of my energy. I'm walking away. I don't treat them nice because I want to be treated nice. Oh, no, they don't deserve my breath. I just walk away. Oh, no. I don't have time. I live life to the fullest with every breath that I have. And that breath was nearly taken away from me. So I don't have time to treat people the way I want to be treated if they're so negative Nellies and they're just gonna choke me because I've got to try so hard to please them. No. I treat people the way they want to be treated. So they treat me nicely, I'll treat them nicely. If they don't treat me nicely, I just walk. keep walking, Rita. There's so many fish in the sea, but people in the sea, okay? Never hang around people that are taking your breath away from for who you are as a being.
Having boundaries, I think, are so important there too.
Yeah, because I got big dreams, you know, and I've always said, you know, if your dreams are achievable, they're not dreams. Your dreams have to be unachievable. If you can achieve your dream, it's not big enough, right? A dream is something that you can't achieve because you're always striving to become better, to move forward, to become better and bigger than what you are. If you achieve something, if you want to dream big, they're usually things that you can't achieve, right? The others are just things on your bucket list. Yeah, I'll buy my car, I'll buy my house, I'll buy whatever. They're all achievable dreams. They're not big enough dreams. When you dream big, there's something that happens within you. And you get to the places that maybe you don't get to the dream you really want, but you'll tick off so many things on that bucket list. And they say, well, money, you know, money can't buy everything. No, but it can buy a lot of things. Well, money's the evil of everything. No, it's not. Money's not the evil of everything. You can do a whole lot of things with money. It's what you do with the money that is evil or not evil. It's not money. If you've got money, you can do a lot of things. It's the way you use it. So it's not the evil. It makes your life easier. Hey, and I'm sure there's some people there at the moment that are saying, oh my God, there's no way that, you know, money is good for everyone. It is good for you. You just need to know what to do with it, right? If you spend it wisely, it can make your life so much easier, so much easier. So it's not the evil. It's the people who use the money that's the evil of the money.
Absolutely. It's energy. It's energy, you know? Money is energy, and you can give it the quality you want it. You can give it either positive quality and do good with it for you, for your family, for people in need, or you can give it negative quality and you can start a war with it, you know, and try to multiply it. I mean, this is when you look around in the world nowadays, there's a lot of evil done in the name of money and for money and with money, but also a lot of positive. I want to get into the charitable work that you do with the money that you raise, because Aldwyn was mentioning the insane amount of money you have raised for charitable work. Before we get into that, I would like to address one viewer. She had asked an interesting question in the chat. Chell Bird or Chelly Bird. She was saying,
how you going, Chell Bird?
Oh, you know her, great.
Yes.
Chell Bird. So she was asking, I always help everyone. I feel I never get the same support back. How do I market myself to share my business with others? It's such a brilliant product. So I don't know, what am I doing wrong? Interesting question, because many coaches, teachers, team leaders, and so on and so forth, they have that. And we were talking about how sometimes you just walk out of the room when you have negative people or abusive people or people who take advantage. But sometimes in a business surrounding, it's not possible. So would you recommend somebody like Chell Bird to not get taken advantage of the way she does?
Well, well, look, I know Chell, and Chell, you're an absolutely incredible human being. You're so resilient. I know your life story. I know what you've been through. Your heart is like, it's like Farlap. You've got a huge heart, Chell. I think that you've just got to you got to try and just leave the heart a little bit closer to you, like within yourself and your family, and turn it more into the business. Okay, don't give so much of you as an individual, your heart, because that's where you get hurt. Because you give so much of your heart, then a lot of people don't deserve your heart. Okay, you need to look at it as a business side, a transaction, should I say? Because your product is extraordinary product, okay? But you not only give your product, you give your heart, you give your time, you give your life, you give everything. You got to probably wind that back a little bit and just give your product, do the marketing, because it speaks for itself, Chell. It does. It speaks for itself. And the other thing, everyone these days becomes a keyboard warrior, don't they? They always are, angry. You know what? all those people that are hitting the angry or they don't like, you know what? Turn that into a positive. Thank you. You've just added to my what is it called? The algorithm. That's it. You've just added and you just bumped me up. Thank you. Keep haters are always going to be haters. Keep putting that anger button up there because you're making me money, honey. You're making me money, honey.
Yes, you know what I heard about the haters for Chell, and thanks for bringing that up. What I heard about the haters, I heard that one of my mentors say they are the keyboard warriors, yes, and they are the most passionate fanboys, because often the people who hate, they do it even more passionate than the ones who love and the ones who are positive, and they're more to bringing their shit out of through the keyboard, you know. And
Yes.
as you say, don't get offended by that. Put up your energetic protection shield, or just transform it left side in, right side out. And as you say, thank you, Joe.
Yeah. When I see the haters on there, I just say, thank you. You've just boosted my algorithm. And also sending you love and light. See you next time you're here if you don't like what I like. And just move forward from there. Just move forward. Move forward. Yeah. But you can't let those haters or people, all those people that give you negative comments get to you. However, in all honesty, there was a time where I did. I used to hate those negative comments. I used to hate when people used to say something because I thought, oh, this is an attack on my good reputation, you know. I've got such a good reputation and I think so highly of what I do, and now I've got these haters on there. So I just delete, block, see ya. And it's easy. You don't think about them anymore.
Yeah, and I want to add there to the question here from Shell about, how to promote what she does. There's a great saying in a personal development course I did called Landmark Education, and they talk about being committed, not attached. So be committed to what you want in life and not attached to what the outcome is going to look like. I think this is where a lot of people get very negative. They get very triggered when people say something they don't like, or they say one thing that just sets them off, and then suddenly they behave like a 3-year-old child, and they're either going to get angry, they're going to freeze, or they're going to run. One of the three usually is how it goes. And a lot of it is just having that self-awareness of knowing what you can control, what you can't control, and being gracious with however that plays out, being committed to promoting your business, Shell, or promoting your product, whatever it is. If you believe in it 100%, it doesn't matter what other people think. I mean, of course, we want people to like our stuff, but it's okay. Some people aren't going to like it. You're never going to have everyone like your stuff, and the more you put yourself out there and promote whatever you're doing, you're going to have more lovers and more haters. It's just how it goes. It's the yin yang of life. And so, of course, we bless and release the haters. They're maybe not our people on the same vibration, and we look at how we can raise our vibration, how we can, as Rita was talking about, how we can go to more, be in more peaceful states, to have joy in our life, to be loving, to have enlightenment, to go from the 3D to the 5D, the 3D stuck world of anger and sadness and grief and and this roller coaster ride. I love that analogy of the triangle. And I was thinking, I could see myself just sliding down that triangle and then coming back up and like having fun with it, having fun with the journey of life as we go up and down this triangle, kind of like the roller coaster ride of life, right? There's going to be times we're going to slide down. I mean, it's going to be painful if you sit at the top of that triangle, isn't it? It's going to be very pointy up there. So, you want to have maybe have a soft cushion when you get to the top so you can sit up there. But, there's going to be times we're going to slide down and we're going to get back up and just enjoy the whole journey of it, right? So important.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm getting an analogy download here. It's lonely at the top and the pyramid can poke your butt. So
just watch where you put your bum when you get to the top, okay? Because it's very important.
Oh, that's funny. But look, in fairness, I'm just going to leave Chell with this. Chell, I love you, okay? I'm just going to leave with just a little thought, because I know you're inside. You're just a beautiful heart. Don't strive for people to like you. Strive to be just happy and good at what you do. Because if you're trying to get people to like you because that's what you want, you'll never be happy. Honestly, you won't. I learned that the hard way. I learned that the hard way. Always trying to please people. No, I want you to please yourself. And like I said, your product is amazing. You're amazing. We all want to be loved. We all want to be liked, but that's not the case. That's not the case. There are people that are never going to like us because we're just on a different level, and you're so on a different level, okay? Your vibration is so much higher than a lot of people. So don't ever let anyone dull your sparkle because you're going to try and make them happy. Just don't. You'll find that the less you try and make people happy, the more you will succeed in your business. Just purely take it as a business. This is the way we're going. We're on that track. You know, I've got 5 carriages of product behind me. I need to sell them, and this is what I'm going to do. And don't put any emotion into it because you want to be liked or you want to, you know, anything like that. Because honestly, you're just gorgeous inside and out. But because you're a softie, that's probably why. Because you're a softie, and people, you're probably a little bit more easier manipulated by people. Okay. But the thing is that you're a strong cookie. You are. You can do anything. You can do it. I want you to give me a call. I'm gonna sort out a little formula for you, Chelsea. So give me a call tomorrow. Okay, you got my number.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's beautiful. Let's finish before we need to wrap up. There's a big echo in the back. Let's finish. I want to address. Aldwyn was mentioning like an insane amount of money that you have raised for charitable causes so far up to today. Share with us. What are those causes? Is there anything that you want to ask our viewers and listeners to donate? How do you work in your charitable work? Share that with us, please.
Well, I've been doing charity work since I was little. My parents always thought it was very healthy for us kids to, you know, do a little bit of charity work here and there. And although it was only in small amounts, you know, it was still charity work. You know, even if it was just $100 here, $50 here, and that was great. But however, when I got sick, the Red Cross actually saved my life because I was getting that many bags of plasma and blood every week and having so many transfusions. I thought there's one thing I have to do is just give back. And when I was on my deathbed in Belgium, in Leuven in Belgium, I thought if I ever get out of this bed, I will dedicate my life to charity. And you can't go back and renege on something that means so much for you at the time and then just say, oh, well, okay, now I'm better. I don't have to do it because, you know, it's changed. No. Well, if I give you my promise, you know, that's my word. I'm going to stick to that. So over the years, I've worked with 52 different charities. I think actually it's a bit more than that the last time I counted. I've raised over $30 million for charity globally. That's on a big scale, worldwide that is, not just here in Australia but globally. And I am being knighted in Rhodes this year. So that will be a little bit later in September this year. I'm going over to Rhodes and I'm going to be knighted. We were, I think there was 19 of us here in Australia and I got fast-tracked. And so I'm going to get knighted over in Rhodes. So I'm going to
then we will address you with Lady Rose.
I will be Dame Rita Rose.
Wow.
Dame Rita
that's
Rose.
impressive. Bless you. Yeah. That's so beautiful. I didn't know they do this in Australia as well. I just know this from England, the knighting.
Well, it's a religious knighting. However, it's still recognised from, you know, all the countries over the world. And, you know, it's all because of the charity work I've done all over the world. So I did get Miss Woman of the Decade in India a few years back. And, oh, look, I do so much. Well, last year I came back from a place called Leh, Ladakh, which is on the border of Pakistan and India. And I actually set up all the beds, Western-type beds for an orphanage over there that were actually sleeping on the floor, and just to have, you know, organised running water for different orphanages around the world. I just try and do my best. And look, I've always been that person that aims for the stars and may settle for the clouds, but not necessarily. I just aim for the stars as big as Ben-Hur, and I'll settle for the clouds, but that's not always the case. Sometimes I won't settle for the clouds. I'll keep aiming for those stars and just until I get to the point where I'm satisfied. But
you certainly are extraordinary. What are you saying after that?
I do have some big plans to do with this title. It's not, it is, it's a 4-letter word, but I do have some big things that I'm going to do once I do get knighted. So that it's in September. I'm going to be having a huge party at the end of the year, and then I'll disclose the things I am actually going to be doing. They're just over the top. They're over the top. It's just the way I work. Unstoppable. It's only you that's going to stop you, right? So as long as you're doing everything legally and freely, it's only you that's stoppable.
Love that.
Excellent, Rita. Now, we do need to wrap up shortly, but I do want to acknowledge all the people who have joined us on the live stream. We've had webcasting live stream on Instagram. Mehra Yoga says, I used to do that in the past and didn't even realize until much later on something we said earlier. Thank you for sharing. We've got Wayne Lennon, Love 11 Light on Instagram, Marcus J. Paul, Mehra Yoga says, amen. Keen Buckley, good to see you there. Rafael Port, LP Systems 8 has joined us. And on Facebook, we have also Ruggero Panuccio has joined us.
I see. That's a relative of mine in Italy. Ciao, Ruggero, come stai? Stai bene? Spero. Yes.
Beautiful. Love that. And then we've got Deb says, love this. Deb Norman on Facebook is a farm girl as well. Now, Donatella Sigillo has joined us, and that is in Italian. So I'll let you say that, Rita.
Yeah, ciao Donatella, come stai? Spero di vediamo in un altro mese. Ciao, bella. Ciao.
I think it says something like un abbraccio grande Rita, bravissima. I think it says bravo. I think it's kind of like you're amazing.
She said, I'm sending you a big hug and congratulations, basically.
Oh, beautiful. And we've got Rosie C says, amazing lady, Rita. We've got lots of great comments from Shell Bird. We've got Grace Coco Discipio. You're such an inspiration. Go, Bella. We've got Marinda Hewitt Cameron here. Love you so much, Rita. Thanks a million for taking me with you on your adventure up the pyramid. And I will always be there for you anyway, anytime. Kisses.
Thank you, Lady Marinda. Sending you big kisses and big hugs. Rosie C, thank you so much, darling.
She says, lucky you, Grace there. We've got Francis Rapolo, honest and inspirational. Louise Campbell says, I can't believe it was 20 years ago that Morgan modelled for your opening.
Yes, her beautiful daughter was one of my first models. Yes.
Amazing. Louise Campbell says, I can't believe it was 10 years ago that Morgan modelled for your opening. And Shell says she loves your makeup as well. The beautiful red Peacock cosmetics are phenomenal. Grace says, I've known Rita for over 30 years, and I still remember when I first met her, I was drawn to her aurora and her vivacious personality. The young girl from the country who was so I'll come back bouncing. Bravo, Rita Rose, she says. And then lots more comments there from Shell. She's sending lots of love. She's laughing with us there as well. And Rosie C says, congratulations, you three beautiful ladies. I enjoyed listening to you, greatly appreciated your advice. Thank you so much. Now, for those who want to connect with you, Rita, where can they do that?
They can go on my link tree. So it's linktr.ee/Rita Barb, and all my information is there.
Beautiful. I've got up on the screen there. So linktree/Rita Barb. We've got that's fantastic there. So hop along there, linktree/Rita Barb. And do you have a favorite quote or motto that you'd like to share with us before we wrap up and go over to Kerstin?
Well, I do. It's actually my trademark, believe it or not. It belongs to me. Be a peacock in a world full of ducks.
Yes.
You understand what that means?
Well, explain it.
So you've got it's like the black sheep scenario, basically. So a peacock has huge bloom of feathers. Sorry. So be the peacock instead of being that beautiful little ducky. Be the peacock with the big bloom of feathers. It's going to be seen and heard every single time. So that's my little trademark. So one of my books is called "Be a Peacock in a World Full of Ducks."
Love that. Thank you, Rita. And Kerstin, of course, to connect with Kerstin and I'll let Kerstin share this, and she also has her own website, etc. as well. But we do have a joint account here on Linktree, so you can hop along to this one here. And Kerstin, over to you for how people can connect with you.
There's my website, which is bebettercoaching.org, and I have set up a little link page there. So if people go to bebettercoaching.org/link, this is where they can find all the links to my free Facebook group, where they get, so much inspiration on a daily basis. There's a link to our show, of course, and much, much more. So just go to bebettercoaching.org/links.
Okay, beautiful. Go along there and check us both out. You'll see some of those links here on Linktree/Media Mavens. So Linktree, linktr.ee/Media Mavens, MEDIA, Mavens, MAVENS. And do you have a quote you'd like to share with us today, Kerstin?
It actually came up to my mind when we were hearing about, Rose's beautiful childhood on the countryside that turned her into this powerhouse that she is. And I want to share that with people who are still stuck in maybe a childhood that was not so empowering. It's never too late for a happy childhood. And you can actually reverse engineer your life by turning the now into something better than the past used to be.
Love that. That is beautiful. And a quote that I will share with you today is, keep your face always toward the sunshine and shadows will fall behind you. Isn't that lovely?
It is. It goes well together.
It does. And we're all shining here today. And Shell says here, yes, or a stiletto in a world full of thongs. Oh, I love that too. That is very cool. Love that. And those who want to connect with me and book a call on my calendar, etc., then just go to my Linktree/Aldwyn as well. If you just go linktr.ee/Aldwyn, then you can see all my links. I've got a webinar coming up called How to Build a Global Brand on August 23. My calendar link, some free resources to get yourself out there to be seen, heard, and known. And of course, I'm all about sharing more gratitude and good news with the world. So there's the Global Good News Challenge that happens every month. And in fact, in 2 days' time, we have the annual Good News Day for this year. It's the 6th annual Good News Day on the 8th of the 8th, just 2 days' time. So I'd love for you to share some good news, particularly on that day, on Thursday. Share some good news, whether it's a post, a photo, something you're happy about, and just see when you get into gratitude how quick things will change for you. Any final words today now from any of you? Rita, would you like to share final words?
Yes, actually, I know that this is I'm just going to throw this out here because I didn't ask for your permission to do this. However, I'm going to give away $250 worth of my makeup to anyone that leaves me a quote down below on any of the links here. It'll go to someone, a quote that is a positive quote that you think I will resonate with, okay? Someone that just something incredibly positive, all right? And the other thing is, to everyone that has watched this tonight, I appreciate you. I acknowledge you, both to Aldwyn and Kerstin. I really appreciate your time today, and I look forward to hearing everyone else's little comments below. Leave me something. I might even give a few of these away. Leave me something special, and I might, I might give away more than that.
We've got one already here from Joanne. Ralph says, embrace the fault lines. Embrace the fault lines. Embrace the fault lines.
Yes.
Embrace
Joanne and I modelled to get together back in the day.
There you go.
We did modelling years and years ago. That was many, many years ago.
And Louise Campbell says, be kind to everyone on the way up because they'll remember your kindness when you meet them on the way down. And Joanne says, Kintsugi, fantastic. Well, keep those comments coming on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, X. This goes up on the podcast platforms as well as BitChute, Rumble. So keep the comments coming. Let us know what you do to turn negatives into positives. share any of your tips, any of your great quotes to be in the running for that amazing prize by Rita. And I can totally vouch for her cosmetics. They are amazing, 100% vegan and absolutely brilliant. The lipstick stays on all day and looks amazing. I always get compliments about your lipsticks, Rita. So thank you so much. And amazing having you as a guest today. You're extraordinary. Good luck with the damehood in September with becoming a dame. It's very, very exciting. And for the $30 million you've raised for charity. And thank you also for your support last year with the Animal Action event that we did as well. You flew up from Sydney. You were our auctioneer. You donated prizes. You're extraordinary. Not only have you been through all those challenges yourself, you're constantly giving back and helping others. It's amazing. You're an absolute gem of a human being. And I'm so grateful to know you and to call you a friend and to have so many experiences and great laughs with you. It's been amazing. We've got Susan Dean has just joined us on Instagram. Robin Woodford, hello. Good to see you guys. Sending you all much love. Any final words, Kerstin, also before we wrap
I want to
up?
thank Rita for being on our show. It was amazing meeting you from the other side of the world. Your light made it all the way around the globe. I feel tingled and touched.
Oh, that's good.
And as we say in German, es war wundervoll, dich zu treffen. A great, great honor. And I assume next time we meet, you'll be the dame. So I bow to the dame.
Yes.
Already. And you more than deserve it. It was a pleasure meeting you, and keep shining. It really, really was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you, Kerstin. And look, there's a box of makeup coming your way too. I'll get your details after the show.
Oh, I love it. Can't wait. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, wonderful. Fantastic. And we've got Marinda says, I follow the magic path of inspiration. Shell says, stand tall like a lighthouse in a sea of waves. Thank you so much. Keep those comments and those great quotes coming in. Rosie C says, be good to yourself and I'll be nice to myself. And now it's time to wrap. And I'm going to give you all the clap because this was an extraordinary show. Yay. Well done.
Yay.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again next time here on Media Mavens Show next month. Thank you so